By a vote of 6-3, the Justices of the Supreme Court of the United States Friday, February 26th, issued an order for injunctive relief against Santa Clara County, California, against its enforcement of a church lockdown based on Governor Gavin Newsom's executive order for the entire state. And the court thus reaffirmed the right to worship that's supposedly enshrined in the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution and in the California Constitution. Except they only reaffirmed it to 20% capacity. Isn't it wonderful to think that 9 people can decide the fate of everybody else's rights to worship? Land of the free. Hi everyone, I'm Gardner Goldsmith for MRCTV, and if you think that sounds like the Supreme Court of the U.S., the SCOTUS, possibly improperly allowing a 20% cap on the right to worship, something that is a right because it's innate for all humans and not supposed to be touched by agents of the state, well, you're absolutely right. The case was called Gateway City Church et al. V. Newsom and included 4 other California churches in the request for injunctive relief to stop Santa Clara County's most recent switch to a complete lockdown. A lockdown which the plaintiffs argued was a manifestation of an unconstitutional treatment of the right to worship. As Greg Stohr reports for Bloomberg, the U.S. Supreme Court said a California county must let 5 churches hold indoor services, adding to a line of orders that have curbed the power of government officials as they battle the spread of the coronavirus. Virus. That's debatable. Okay. As we know, it's very debatable. And the members of the majority offered their order for injunctive relief based on an earlier SCOTUS ruling February 6th in the case of South Bay Pentecostal Church v. Newsom, a ruling that allowed for a 25% occupancy limit, but not a zeroing or complete closure. Right? See, it totally makes sense. Even though the right to worship is inherent, and as a right, it's supposed to be impervious to government attack, and even though the California Constitution explicitly states, quote, Section 4, the free exercise and enjoyment of religious profession and worship without discrimination or preference shall forever be guaranteed in this state. So the Supreme Court ruled on February 6th that for 75% of folks who want to attend services in any house of worship, the right is dead and evidently not protected by the state constitution. Stohr notes that this most recent case saw multiple churches join to fight a strange new county edict that allowed 20% capacity for non-worship at the houses of worship, but 0 capacity for people to worship at the houses of worship. 5 suing churches said the county can't constitutionally let churches operate at 20% capacity, but then bar those people from worshiping together. In other words, at 0. Sure, you thought this was a church, but not really. And though the U.S. Supreme Court found in favor of the plaintiffs, this new order for injunctive relief, this victory handed out by the black robes of the Supreme Court in favor of the right to worship, uses the South Bay Pentecostal decision as its basis, saying essentially that a 0 capacity limit is unacceptable, but allowing 75% to be shut out, or in this case, 80%, is acceptable. Which again is peculiar given the meaning of the word right and the California Constitution noted above. Now, some might argue that the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution also would prohibit the county or state of California from infringing on the right to worship. But the First Amendment specifies only Congress in its prohibition against establishing a religion or infringing on the right of free religious exercise. Of course, that wasn't a nuance that the majority of the court addressed, and neither did they address the fundamental point of the California Constitution. Their order was just a paragraph long, and then they cleaned their hands of the matter and moved on. The 3 most liberal justices, Elena Kagan, Stephen Breyer, and Sonia Sotomayor, dissented, likely because they favored complete lockdown power for the state or county, leaving Roberts, Kavanaugh, Thomas, Alito, Barrett, and Gorsuch in the majority. It sure is nice to know that 9 people can decide the fate of your rights, even to the point of allowing those rights to have a capacity limit attached to them by the government or county. If you're in that 25% who can exercise religion without fear of government attack, if you happen to get in there early enough, well, feel fortunate. If you're not, well, sorry. No rights for you. Move on to another soup kitchen. Hey, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Remember, like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Please make sure you subscribe over at Rumble. All the videos are there and they're picking up great steam. Really nice to see all the views over there. If you have the opportunity, go to MRCTV.org. Visit us on Facebook. Visit folks on Twitter. I'm on Gab at Gardner Goldsmith on Gab. And if you get the opportunity, I want to remind you once more, if you go to MRCTV.org, you'll see a little ad on the side about our great new learning program. It's free and it's called College Unbound. This first series is an 11-part series of videos all about the fundamentals of Marxism collectivism. We go into Marx's personal history, his towering hypocrisy, his personal relationships with his family, lots of interesting stuff early on, and then we draw those lessons out and apply them to how Marxism spread all throughout the world and caused terrible havoc for so many people throughout the 20th century. I hope you'll check it out. Remember, it's College Unbound. You get free text, free videos, and quizzes so you can remind yourself about what you learned, and then you can share them with friends. I got to write it, and I really want to thank everybody who's involved with MRC who helped out on the production of this. It's a really neat project. I like it a lot. So please check that out if you can, and if you've liked this video, please share this with friends as well. For MRC TV, I'm Gardner Goldsmith.